thought I'd do a live here for a little bit. Uh-oh, my camera stand just went completely cronk. Come on, where's the one I'm looking for? Sorry, I'll be right with you guys. Should I do that one? No, I'll do this one. There. Now everyone can see what this guy looked like. No, you don't need to see that part. That's probably the best picture of him right now. Oh. Yeah, that's my camera stand just shifted. Yeah, a lot of BS this weekend. As of Friday, when I left the air that night, yeah, there's some video shot of some Iranian officials landing in Toronto's Pearson Airport, but a lot of other Iranian officials right now are heading to France and Britain. Actually, the Ayatollah, who is apparently gravely wounded, he has a house right across the street from the embassy, the Iranian embassy in the UK, or is it the US embassy? Anyways, a house just that he shouldn't even be close to an embassy in the first place. But his property is looking over a major embassy in UK. And then Tom Hanks is coming out with some weird coffee now. I don't know why now all of a sudden you just decide to put out a coffee brand. That's really weird. You know, a lot of people are boycotting it already. And then Rob Ford, that was pretty cool what Rob Ford's gonna do. He's gonna give the teachers for grade schools a $270 gift card, and it's gonna do this program for 2 years, and that'll give teachers, you know, to be able to pay for school supplies. And then they're gonna build a registry of what school supplies that the teachers are buying, and he's planning after 2 years, if he's still in office, to warehouse to supply, you know, arts and crafts, pens, papers, loose leaf, booklets, other things like that. So yeah, after 2 years, he'll do a provincial warehouse with all these products, and then all teachers. He should expand this into high school. Right now, his plan is just for grade schools right now. So that's pretty cool that he's putting money towards that. And then meanwhile, Canada's putting, you know, Manitoba's putting all their money in like women in their menstrual products. You know, I think giving that $750 gift card for the next 2 years to teachers is way more deserving than having feminine products in Avery government building as a necessity. Yes, it should have been a necessity a long time ago, but I don't know. It's funny, you can get free condoms and stuff pretty much anywhere, but yeah, you can't get free pads or tampons. Like, how is this not a thing? How is this still not a thing? Like, but I think the provincial government should have did more of a Rob Ford approach when it came to like spending the federal government's money or the provincial government's money, our money, on something. You know, like this thing right there. Now he's got all the teachers behind him. Like, shout out to him. He got the votes for that. And then he's shouting out for like the liquor and auto industry too. Yeah, I know he does a lot of sound bites and stuff too. Robert Doug Ford has quite the mouth on him. And then his whole blocking of Canadian Crown Royal from Manitoba into Ontario, that was just shameful. absolute shameful. Like, okay, you're talking about, okay, we need to be Canada proud. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to be more about Canada. And then to refuse to sell a Canadian product in your stores because of that little skiff between alcohol companies wanting to go down to the United States. Well, other breweries and liquor producers have moved up here too, man. And they had already previously been moving up here before this Donald Trump thing. Like now you can get Twisted Tea bottled here in Canada now. Like there's a lot of products that are bottled here now. Smirnoff products bottled up here now. So to say that like this is what changed the how liquor is changing throughout Canada, no, no. These breweries were already kind of thinking about it because it was already becoming a tax problem. But I believe a lot of breweries we just haul whole milk containers. Sometimes you guys probably don't even realize this. Some of these milk tankers that are driving down the highway are full of like straight liquor, and then they get bottled somewhere down in this per state, depending on the laws. But yeah, it gets bottled normally in the state or the province, or like here in Manitoba. I think it's bottled in. Well, it's bottled here in Manitoba, Crown Royal, but other products are bottled in like Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC. You know, it's kind of spread throughout Canada where the bottling companies are. But I believe down in the States, depending on the laws and the way you can transport liquor over the border between certain states, even I think certain counties as well, you gotta watch for stuff like that. But a lot of these milk tankers, and I swear this one time I seen one. This is a beautiful semi, you know, nice, beautiful aluminum polished tanks you see your face in. Something like, you know, you'd see Tourette's trucker driving, you know, and his green goblin of his. Oh my goodness. He's holding this beautiful tanker and a big sticker on the back. It says, hauling liquid chicken. I'm thinking to myself, liquid chicken? Wow, that's pretty disgusting for having like such a nice truck. But really, in retrospect, I'm thinking to myself, what better way to not have a whole tanker of like Crown Royal or, you know, Smirnoff getting jacked? Let's put a big bumper sticker on it that says hauling liquid chicken. You know, no one would be like, screw that thing. Like, uh, my brother did a couple hauls, I think, out of Gillum. Uh, and you're only allowed, I think, 2 hauls a year. They don't let the same drivers do more than 2 hauls a year. But I think the same thing with anhydrous ammonia. You're only allowed to, I think, do so many deliveries per year. I don't know if it's because it's bad for you. That could be it too. Anhydrous ammonia, that thing, it literally fills your lungs with water. It's what they inject into the ground to bring the moisture back up. Normally, yeah, it's a fertilizer anhydrous mix to help the fertilizer, you know, absorb into the soil itself. Oh, I even said soil, not dirt. I knew a chick who went in for an interview for a soil research analyst, and the scientist asked her, can you describe what soil is to me? And she was like, what? What do you mean, like dirt? It's like, oh, wow. Right there. Interview is over. Don't call a soil, don't say dirt around a soil scientist. Nothing's just dirt. It really sets them off. Uh, yeah, pretty messed up. And the Strait of Hormuz there, that's pretty messed up. The U.S. is sending more ships over there, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, there was those bombings on that island there, striking Iran's major oil hub, oil, natural gas, diesel hub there. You almost make you wonder why they built all that on an island. You know, like what a sitting target. Like, yeah, it had missile defense systems, blah blah blah, but like still, You're gonna put all your eggs in one basket there, Iran. Really? Really? And what was it? I think that's like 80% of their oil has to go through there if it goes to market. I think it's 80%. I don't quote me on that because there's got to be some pipelines, and then I didn't fact check that number either. So, and then yeah, uh, Air Force General still missing. He's still missing. People are thinking he either got abducted by aliens or there's a lot of theories. He worked at Wright Pearson Air Force Base. That's like Area 51 of like UFO technology. And then what was it? That could be one of the places they took the aliens, something like that. I don't know. I gotta go back and watch my X Files. Yeah, it's funny. You go back and watch X Files now, and it's like we're watching a real TV drama that like it's like this is really happening right now. Like holy shit. From how old is X Files now? Almost 30 years old. Yeah, it's got to be like 30 years old, and now all the stuff from the X Files, like those writers must have had some inside information for sure. Like, there's so much stuff that is actually happening now. And then there was one family based on the Whitakers. Yeah, like there's a lot of episodes that are based on real facts, real things, and then they kind of just made it blow it out of proportion to kind of give it some edge, you know. But some of the stuff they probably had to undersell too, just so they could keep doing the show. But that's another thing about doing a TV show. You know, you could put out the facts right there. Like the Simpsons have done this multiple times. Like brought out the facts and just right in plain sight, and then no one thinks of anything about it. Like what was it, 1947 episode of the Addams Family? What is it, episode 3 or episode 7? They're talking about electronic voter fraud back then in 1947. It might even actually be older than that. Episode 3 or episode 7. Really crazy. I should go back and find that. Do another recording of that. You guys blow your mind. All the stuff that's been on TV in the past and now it's happening. And then there's something about old sitcoms now. I don't know what company is doing it, but they're throwing in AI ads into the show itself, so it flows as one continuous thing. It doesn't snap into a commercial. The show becomes the commercial. So like say Jerry Seinfeld walks into his apartment, blah blah blah, and like AI is now gonna have him go into his fridge and be like, hey, Pepsi Cola or Dr. Pepper, blah blah blah, and then off back to doing the show, stuff like that. Like it's gonna be crazy. But you guess you can always go back and find the hard copies of the original stuff and watch those. And then still to this day, I don't think you can watch the Puerto Rican Day Parade episode on any platform. I think it was banned after the very first airing of that episode. As soon as it aired, people went nuts. Mostly because what's his name? The guy who played Kramer. He accidentally lit a Dominican Cuban flag, a Cuban or Dominican flag on fire by accident with one of his cigars, and they ended up flipping Jerry's car into a basement suite. Like New York has those basement suites with the stairs. Yeah, they ended up throwing Jerry's car upside down into the yeah Puerto Rican. The Puerto Rican flag is what happened. Yeah, because the whole episode is them being stuck in the car at the Puerto Rican parade. They forgot that that was going to be on that day, which is pretty hilarious premise because that happens to a lot of people. You forget that there's a big parade or a big functioning happen, and then you get gridlocked and ended up just leaving your car where it is and going home for a bit. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a few good actors in there. There was one guy in there, he was supposed to be the super for the TV show. I can't remember his name. He was a short black comedian, also writer. Yeah, I'm trying to think about what first, the Puerto Rican Day Parade is in the last season. Last season, second or last season, eighth or ninth season. I'm trying to remember what the first one is though. Uh, I know the pilot is hard to find too. Just watch the pilot from the beginning due to the fact that it was just a pilot and the whole sitcom like pretty much changed after that first episode. Trying to remember how many episodes did they get the first episode? Like I think only 7, maybe not even that. U.S. is beginning to investigate forced labor investigations into 60 countries, including Canada. Yeah, yeah, we probably got some forced labor happening up here. I think. What are you looking for? Illegal migrants, or what are you doing? Yeah, 2 men facing charges after an incident at Toronto's Alcad's Day demonstration. What were these guys up to? No, I don't like listening to this news. This is straight up fake news. Stop, blah, blah, blah. So who was police say accusations, swinging his arms and fists at a victim? It's just a fist fight. And by the sounds of it, it wasn't even a fist fight. It was just him windmilling his arms around at people. Somebody windmills you just kick them in the nuts. I don't care how old you are. Whenever somebody's swinging at me, I'm gonna kick you in the nuts first. I don't like using my fists. I need my hands to write. Yeah, Trump's calling calling on naval coalitions to help protect the Strait of Hormuz. So what was it after 6 days of this war? They're already at like how many $billions? And meanwhile, the U.S. is slowly going into major debt. I could seriously see a recession happening in the States with what's happening, especially with not having any clear guidance on like trade. Like, holy crap, every other country is like, okay, we already made our deals with some other countries. We're good. We don't even need to talk to you anymore. Kind of feels bad. Like, there was some talk about, was it Keir Starmer, leader of Britain there, the prime minister there? There was some talk, not of him, but like people in his office and stuff talking about, maybe they had made a deal a little too soon with Trump. Yeah, and some leaders, yeah, or the agreements they had made might have been a little too soon. But a lot of countries are headed all over the place right now. Africa is starting to realize their value of money. Strategic Corporation, Canada, Kingdom, Norway. What the hell is this? When is this? Okay, this is yesterday. Northern allies and strategic partners. Prime Minister of Norway, Mark Jonas Store. Welcome, Prime Minister Carney. Mr. Carney is also blah blah blah. Yeah, I thought you said. What are you talking about then? Mutual interest. Including. Yeah, blah blah blah. What are you talking about? Does you guys got a part of that Norway company who's funding Germany on the bidding for this submarine deal? Because this is like kind of what I was getting at right here. Yeah, they're talking about NATO defense and that part of the ocean, but I don't see anything here about. I don't see anything here about Britain or Germany. Oh, yeah, it's more about supporting Ukraine more. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the Ukraine war anymore and about supporting it. I kind of started losing support for like the whole like even just sending money to feed the war machine probably 2 years ago. But like, look at all the countries making money from this. Like, that's crazy. And yeah, Hungarian authorities are still keeping that, what is it, $78 million in currency from Ukraine. Yeah. They gave them back their armored cars, but the armored cars were torn up. They didn't just cut into those safes in those armored vehicles. They smashed these things open. Oh my goodness. So they might as well have just gave them back nothing. I mean, it's like, oh, here's your messed up armored cars now, and here's your people back, but we're keeping the cash. Yeah. What? Like, and then first of all, why do you need that much USD currency? Like, I can see why you need euros and stuff, but why are you driving around with $40 million in US currency in Europe? Like, and then not having proper documentation. Yeah, that's a little suspicious. That'd be like me hauling bags of weed from here to, like, say, Winnipeg. If I didn't have proper documentation, yeah, I'm gonna probably go to jail. I'm gonna probably get served some papers, and then end up winding up in court because, yeah, I didn't have proper documentation. Like, I had a buddy who used to do that on the side, but it was legit to a point. Legit to a point. And he had a delivery service, and yeah, when it comes to like dealing weed and stuff like that, yeah, yeah. What? Then you're just a mule. Oh, kind of really need a cigarette. Oh, damn. Oh yeah, and I know what's going on. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I totally forgot I had to do this. Must be because of the way I set things up. Da, da, yeah, okay. Interesting. Oh. Oh, yeah, what else? I know there's a few other little things I wrote down for the weekend, but it's all old news. Really want to call out Carney, though, the Prime Minister of Canada. Like, what the hell are you doing, bud? Why haven't... He's... He's labeled the NRGC as a terrorist organization, but he hasn't listed some of the members. And you have to be a GRC card holder to be considered a terrorist member. Well, how about these Iranian leaders that are here in Canada right now or that are funding the machine, whether they have the card or not? So, like, I'm calling out Carney right now. Yeah, you have the NRGC listed as a terrorist organization, but you're gonna have to start listing some of these other guys too, or find a new name for them, because they're obviously not politicians. Yeah, and then what are they? What good are they here? They're no good to us here, anyways. Same in France. France and Britain. Yeah, you guys, what the hell are you doing here? Yeah, you listed the NRGC as a terrorist organization, but you haven't listed the Iranian government as a terrorist organization. And yet they're still feeding it. See, this is like what the kind of the issue with this conflict is right now. Because you have them feeding Hezbollah, who's bombing like Israel all the time, and then you have like they're just feeding these ultimate puppet groups. Why don't we just list them as a terrorist organization already? Didn't we? Haven't we listed Russia as a terrorist organization already? Like, I know there's other countries that we've listed as terrorist organizations. Like, I don't see what's taking so long to do this with Iran. They're just keep feeding their puppet clubs. So I'm calling out Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, and then even the leaders of France and the leaders of Britain. Get your act together here, you guys. This is nonsense. I can't believe you're gonna let these people back into the country like that. Like, they never should have been allowed on the plane in the first place. I don't care what country they flew out of, whether it's, yeah, you have diplomatic immunity coming out of there. No, they never should have got on that plane in the first place. There should have been some type of CSIS intervention or something. CSIS should have known, or even some foreign, friends. But hey, look, U.S. doesn't like us very much right now, so they're probably holding back a few of the breadcrumbs because they could probably, this whole Iranian thing, them coming to Canada could bite us in the ass. Trump again. See, now you're just letting more terrorists into the country. So yeah, here, I'm gonna hit you with more tariffs again. It's like, okay. Okay, what is it? Was it the drugs? Now it's terrorists. Like, it's always something. And now you don't want to open the Gordie Howe Bridge? Really? Really? You don't want to open it until Canada pays for it. You signed off on it in your first term election, dude. Dude, somebody needs to show you a recording of what you said in your first term. And I believe it was your first 100 days. Or were you just signing papers? You didn't know what the hell you're doing. Oh, no, but you did said this is very strategic between Canada and U.S. trading. It's necessary. Well, that necessary to trading. Well, trading got threw out the window somehow. What the hell happened in the last, Biden administration for him to just completely flip his views? And then the Keystone XL pipeline, yeah, now there's talk of that being finished finally. Yeah, how much US, or how many billions of dollars? 1.8 billion dollars of the Alberta taxpayers' dollars helped pay for that, which never got finished. It's just got little trickle veins into the northern states off of it right now, because you're not allowed to pump any farther than that due to environmental concern. Thank you, Mr. Obama and Mr. Biden, for that. Oh, goodness. Is literally this close to finishing. Literally this close. Like, fuck, I wish I would have been the guy on the pipeline actually working on it. Be like, whoa, yeah, we're getting paid for nothing. Yeah. Here, let's bump up the cost a little bit since we don't have to finish it. Oh, well, that doesn't really matter because we already got paid for it. We were just stopped from finishing the project. So, here, void return on funds. That's so fucked up. Oh, man. Well, definitely, I think that's enough ranting for what happened this weekend. And a little touch up on some other news. And then, yeah, he's still missing. Been missing, what, 2 weeks now? Very interesting. So, oh yeah, he gone. He definitely gone. What do you mean? You think he's buried in the desert? I just find it weird that he didn't take his phone or his watch or anything. But he was also in talks with that guy from Blink 182, just shortly before to Trump announced that he was gonna disclose the UF files, blah blah blah. Maybe they took him past the firmament line. Sorry, that was a bad flat Earth joke. But finally, I can understand where flat people are coming from now. I finally had somebody explain it to me in 30 seconds or less that actually made sense. Sprayed on the cornfields. Yeah, he'll be liquid chicken right now. So I'm just seeing if there's anything else in my notes. Yeah, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of those. Yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah, I heard about all those little drones. And then I don't know what's up with this talk. They're warning the West Coast right now of a possible invasion. Like they're really pushing a narrative right now that hey, everyone be on alert right now for drones from naval ships from Iran, blah blah blah, possibly China. But the thing is, in Canada, why aren't we hearing anything? Like anyone in the West Coast has absolutely no clue. They're like, what? What? There's none of this going on. So I don't know. Fear mongering. I don't know. Pearl Harbor 2.0. If they were gonna hit anything, they'd hit Hawaii first. And trust me, like with the technology they have right now, if they're warning people of a possible attack on the West Coast from drones from Iran, pretty sure the US has technology to know that those ships are there, unless it's the US's drones themselves. Huawei, yeah, yeah, and that official there, still that dealing with that fiasco with the Huawei executive we extradited from Canada to the US, still dealing with that headache. Like I think with Carney sitting down with the Chinese leaders there was probably one of the first actual good sit downs I think we've had in. Ooh, how long ago was that Huawei thing? Over 10 years ago now. It has to be. I know time flies by. It might have even been longer than that. But the first time Canada actually had a good sit down with China and actually came to some agreements. Also had some in the Indian. Hmm. Yeah, Trump's calling from more NATO forces to start bringing more ships to the strait there too. Uh, and France, I think, said they're sending more ships as well. Some essentials for anything. Yeah, and then China just bumped up their microchip manufacturing too. They did put a hold on specific microchips though, but that's a national security thing. They're just trying to limit certain people from getting certain microchips. The U.S. just did an announcement at the beginning of this week about pretty much the same international rules when it comes to export and microchips. But there's a lot of microchip companies in the States right now that they say that they're booked up for the next 4 years of manufacturing. And there's a lot of people pissed off right now because they can't get these microchips. There was some talk of the new PS system and the new Xbox systems being delayed due to the fact that they're having trouble getting these microchips right now, just for the consoles themselves. So Grand Theft Auto 6 might be, or yeah, 5, 6, 7. The new Grand Theft Auto might be delayed. There is a lot of talk of it being delayed too, just because of the console release. But and then U.S. is talking microchips too. Uh, the reason that they're really putting a crackdown on the export on their microchips is because they're gonna need them. They're gonna need the what they have right now, especially with these like weapons that they're using overseas. Like the U.S. says, "Oh yeah, we got an abundant supply of these weapons." Well, you know these weapons need specific microchips, blah blah blah, and then some of these microchips were coming out of China. So now with what you're doing in Iran, do you think you're gonna get those microchips from China? No, and that's gonna be a basis of this paperwork now that China has just said on exports. The U.S. does produce, just not the numbers. Silicon Valley is pretty much gone now. There's not a whole lot of Silicon Valley left right now. The Silicon era is pretty much dead in the US, yes, I will admit that, but they still do manufacture chips in the US. I'll dig into that a little bit deeper. I'll look into chip manufacturers in the US. Yeah, because there was some big announcements not too long ago about some of these companies. Yeah, definitely withholding, like General Manufacturing. Well, like General Dynamics does their own microchips too. General Dynamics, they're linked up. General Dynamics. This guy here worked for them. This guy, yeah, I'm designing microchips. So yeah, General Manufacturing, General Dynamics. Yeah, there was talk about the Intel chip too. I'm thinking they wanted to move that facility somewhere or a big expansion, specifically the Intel chip. Oh, that's crazy. That's awesome. I had a buddy who worked for Boeing for a long time. He worked on the lunar rover back in the day. He's Mac. How old is he now? 80, 84. Yeah, did a lot of stuff with Boeing. A lot of stuff he won't talk about though. I wanted to bring him on here and do a chat about the F-35s and the Saab's Griffin and then Russia's what is it, RF-57 or something like that. He's like, nope, not with what's going on overseas right now. Due to what I did for a living and I'm retired right now, yeah, that probably wouldn't be very kosher. But there is a lot of projects that he will talk on. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. I don't know. Desk jockey, I guess. Kind of. Yeah, old Mac. He's pretty good guy. I did an interview with him. Oof, probably last spring. I did an interview with him. Uh, he gets into a little bit of his history. Retired military, and then somehow him and three of his buddies they seen this job at Boeing one day, and before you knew it, yeah, he got up pretty good there. He got in at the ground level when things were really bumping up for Boeing for sure, especially like their military contracts and their division from like military and expansion into like rockets and different types of propulsion, different types of materials and stuff like that. He really got to see the transition and stuff. He even got to see like there was specific products that he would be working with and nobody knew what it'd be, so they have this big autoclave to put products in. And notice people would just anyone around this autoclave like would get sick, and then they kind of broke it down like it wasn't the autoclave making them sick, it was this one specific product they were putting in the autoclave to kiln. And it was a mixture of like these two weird metals, and it was the only product that ever used this thing, and it ended up making a buttload of people sick and having to retire early from their job, and you know probably not getting the pension or anything like that they deserved. But people didn't know back then. Yeah, what better way to just label everything as that? Just you know, then no one would think of it. It's like hiding something in plain sight. Uh, there's actually a pretty good airfield not far from here. What's her name? She's on something. She's really important. Oh, I'm trying to remember her name. Right something. Anyways, Yeah, but there's quite a bit of history not too far from me. She was a famous pilot, kind of like the Canada's Amelia Earhart before Amelia Earhart. I don't know why the airfield's named after her though. She's not from Brandon. She might have actually used that military base quite a bit. There's a lot of airfields that are out in this area. It's all prairies. Like military base, military base, military base, all within like 45 minutes of each other. And then one in Portage, so then like an hour, another half an hour away from that military base. Pretty much there's a military base every half an hour away from where you were in Manitoba. Actually, one of the biggest military Air Force bases was here in Rivers, Manitoba. And oh, they still have this big metal hangar there, and it's crazy. It was like meant to hold the biggest aircraft in the world at the time. And yeah, that was pretty cool. Uh, and something significant about that. Oh, Zucchini bicycles. There's a racing bicycles. They used during World War II. The military base there used the Chinese POWs to make zucchini bicycles. And back then, when you seen a zucchini bicycle, you're like a millionaire. To buy a zucchini bicycle back then, you're looking at like a couple $100. Like, so like the equivalent to it today would probably be like a $16,000 bicycle. And when you see like the quality of these bikes, yeah, you'd see why people wanted them. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I looked into that too. There was no real search for him in the first couple days. But if you listen to his wife, she said that's kind of not out of the ordinary for him to like kind of just take off like that. But she said it was really unusual that he left his like Google Watch and his phone. So like I don't know, private meeting. Maybe he was having an affair, blah blah blah. Or who knows, maybe he was having an affair. Took off with his mistress down to South America, and then he doesn't have to be a part of this whole UFO nonsense. You know, he's retired. Maybe he doesn't want to be a part of any of this shit. You know, like I'm retired, I'm done. Like I know a retired police chief in the city. I talk to him every once in a while, but like the cops one day they're outside his house and I was over there. You know, like, are you gonna do anything? He's like, fuck no. He's like, fuck, I'm retired. He turns the TV back on to golf. He didn't even look out the window to see what was going on and just sitting there watching his golf. And fuck, I don't want anything to do with that. And then he's telling me a story. He's like, one day I was driving downtown. I see them like trying to get this guy down, get on this guy on the ground, and I get out of my car and start heading over there. I realize, you know what? Fuck that. Fuck that noise. I don't need to do that shit anymore. If I get hurt, blah blah blah, you think I'm gonna get paid for that? Blah blah blah. I'm gonna go back home, sit in my chair, watch my golf. It's funny, this cop that I know too, actually raided my house when I was 22 for guns, explosives. They were looking for body armor, firearms, ammunition, explosives, obviously. I had 7 warrants out for my arrest. Yeah, I was pulled out of vehicle at gunpoint by. He wasn't the chief then. He was a drug. Oh, he was a special unit. I can't quite remember what special unit he was in, but like a very high crime unit. Like this guy, so funny. Well, it's funny now. So yeah, rips us, me and my friend, out of the vehicle. I just ate a shitload of pot, and it's springtime, so there's still snow in the ditch, and grass, and then snow as the ditch goes in like this, right? And there's always water under that snow. So one cop, he's on this like sidewalk, and there's this ditch. He has like gun pointed at me with finger on the trigger, blah blah blah, and it's kind of funny because they're like don't move, everyone put their hands on the dash, blah, blah, blah. We have reason that you may have guns or explosives inside the vehicle. And then we just looked at each other like, oh my goodness, guns and explosives. I just ate all that weed for nothing. Because, like, if they don't have warrants, or they couldn't have charged me for the marijuana even if I had it, because that's not what the reason for pulling us over was. They just have to take the drugs and forget about it, because that's not the reason for pulling us over. So the cop who was walking through the ditch steps on the snow on the top, and it's thin layer of ice. Boom, goes through the snow, gets a booter. Whole time pointing his gun at my head with his finger on the trigger. He goes into the snow like this. I thought he was gonna blow my fucking head off. Ugh. Yeah. Then off to my place to go rummaging there and look for those guns and explosives. Yeah. All the drugs. Well, actually, there wasn't much drugs there. I think there was probably only like 2 grams of weed, 2 pills of ecstasy, and a shitload of ephedrine, which they didn't touch. I had 2 cases of ephedrine, so 100 pills per bottle, 12, what is it, 12,000 pills per pack, 24,000 pills of ephedrine. I'd pay like $40 for a case of those. That's used for making meth and ecstasy. And back in the day when I was selling drugs, meth didn't really exist. Sue them for what? For what? Somebody had something they wanted on me. Somebody had some beef, said some bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Like, what I could have done is went and sued the person who talked to the police about this. But because it's locked up in disclosure, they can't tell me who it was, whether anything happened or not, due to the fact of the circumstances. And the reason they got the 7 warrants for my arrest is because I was so many blocks away from a school. And they just changed that during Columbine, the Columbine shootings. They changed that. So any house who has to do with drugs, guns, or anything that is within so many feet, and when I mean feet, they changed it from feet to blocks, is 16 block radius, which I was right on the cusp of. That's how they got the 7 warrants for my arrest, because of this Columbine law is what they call it. And just because of the circumstances and the what could have been found in the house, they don't need, well, a judge can just sign it. A judge can just sign off on it, and it's done. It's done. Like, his hands are washed from it. Like, he can't be dealt with it. The cops can't be punished for it. Like, the only person at the end of the day would have been the person who did rat on me. And yeah, that stupid bitch, I should have shot her. Should have just shot the bitch. Oh, yeah. Don't shit where you eat. No, they're all in bottles. Still, like, factory grade ephedrine. What were they? 15 milligram pills. Little tiny 15. Here, I'll show you what they look like. I can still get these today. If you bring these to Australia, oh. If I bring these pills into Australia, I will go straight to jail. Do not collect $200. These are only 10 milligrams, but the 15s were the same size. Oh, super, super small. So I'd had, what did I say, 24,000 pills total in little bottles. Ephedrine hydrochloride. It's used as a nasal decongestant. If you have a cold or you're stuffed up, you just pop one of these. People on diets will use it as a weight loss drug or a food suppressant. Yeah, you just take one of those little pills. Yeah. It's crazy what you can make out of that stuff. But that's what I do is I buy all the pills in bulk, which isn't illegal. You didn't need a pharmacy license to be able to hold bottles of this stuff. It wasn't illegal. So I buy this stuff in bulk and sell it to other people. Or sometimes I do something with it myself. Uh, yeah, that's another thing. Women. I used to grow weed. I grew weed for like 3 years at an indoor grow op, and that's when I started like really selling drugs. Is when I started working at the grow op. Yeah, that's tough work. Working in a grow op. Yeah, your hands are fucked up. Like your fingers don't work. Like you go home. One day I fell asleep there at the grow op, and this is like January, February. Fell asleep in the grow op with just like my shorts on. Woke up in the morning completely red as a fucking lobster, like absolutely beet red, sunburnt, starting to peel already. Then I gotta go explain to. I was living in a rooming house, so I'd rent a room out of a house that the owner had, so we all kind of had our own rooms. I had to go back to that house and explain to the landlord and other people who lived in the house, like how I got this fucking sunburn in the middle of February, you know? Ugh. But the guy I was growing weed with ended up getting lung cancer, not from smoking weed, just from like, you know, we did a lot of dirty shit. Like we'd siphon diesel, polish aluminum without gear on. Like we'd do some really make our own polishes in house at this place. Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll fuck you up. Those lights will burn the shit out of you, especially like metal halide or high pressure sodium. Yeah, they'll burn you pretty quick. Yeah, don't underestimate how quickly you'll get burnt with those. Yeah, yeah, pretty bad. My boss just laughed at me. He was just like, "You idiot! What the fuck?" And we are doing aeroponics. We'd have big plastic tubes running like the length of the room at a slight angle, and then we'd have cups with screens. And per table, we're running I think 74 plants per table, so we're doing pretty good. One's on Amazon. Well, the fluorescent ones, yeah, they don't, or not fluorescent. You can go to fluorescent. I don't find that they have the power to produce a good plant. You're gonna have like a spindly kind of plant using improper lighting. I've seen people doing stuff with like LEDs now that is full spectrum, but in person, I haven't seen what the product actually looks like. Like I find anything that you're not using high pressure sodium or metal halide, everything's really kind of just fluffy like a sponge. You use proper lighting, you can kind of have a harder, more concentrated product. A lot more weight, looking at a lot less volume. So you look at a smaller pile, but the weight is there compared to this big huge pile, and you're like, wow, that's a lot of weed. But then you weigh it up, and it's nothing. So but when using LED lights too, those ballasts will burn you. I've seen this on multiple occasions. The little aluminum ballast that controls the LEDs, transferring it from uh, AC to DC. Yeah, those will get hot, and I haven't seen one explode or heard of one exploding, but I've heard of them failing. They get that hot, so they just cook themselves. Deadly. Yeah, I used to do a lot of dirty stuff back in the day. Working at the grow up, it was funny. I worked for this guy for like 2 months before I told him I knew about the grow up he had in there. And it was funny because he was like totally cool about it. He was like, "Oh, okay. Well, you should have told me that you knew about it longer, dude, because you could have been up there doing stuff for me. Because I got to drive truck. I got to go down to Texas. I got all this stuff. I can't sit here and babysit these fucking plants. So that's what I ended up doing for like 3 years. Yeah, right to the day he pretty much died, which sucked. And then making money. Oh man, I could get for just a day of trimming, I could get anywhere from a pound, no, half a pound to a quarter pound. That's like a full size Ziploc bag, one of the big freezer ones. So one of those is a half a pound. So I get one of those done. It's funny, he had the same initials as me too, so it was like kind of Kidsmith. It's like, wow. People would like yell out our initials and we both look. It's so funny. We'd have like, oh, we'd get just smashed together too. It's not worth it to grow my own anymore. It really isn't. Like literally black market right now. I can go into the city right now. I can get a full pound of like Acapulco Gold, Purple Kush, Girl Scout cookies. I can get a pound for $600. A pound. That's two of those big freezer Ziploc bags full of really good product. So that's even cheaper than going to the stores. How many ounces in a pound? What, a 28, no, 16 ounces to a pound? Yes. So, yeah. Oh, dude. Well, in Canada, there's people that got nothing better to do. And then the weed that I get black market is sold to the bikers from the Chinese. It's all Chinese weed because I was getting from the Chinese market. I was getting cigarettes from them in Winnipeg, and then all actually it started off as me getting weed, and then it turned out me getting cigarettes from them, and I was getting pounds of weed from them for like $400 of like really quality stuff. But the thing is, I buy so much, and it have the same name of the product. So I just every ounce bag I write something different on it, like Mickey Mouse, like like Dr. Cola. I remember one batch during COVID, I wrote COVID-19 on every ounce bag that I sold, and everyone's like, "Whoa, sweet COVID-19, yeah, how good is it?" I'm like, "It'll kill you." Like, what the fuck, you guys? Like, really? And that sold faster. And what was funny, that sold faster than the Girl Scout cookies weed I had, which was the same weed. Figure that out. Fuck, people are weird. Even the wife was like, "Wow, I can't believe this." So funny. But anyways, I gotta take off. I think the wife just came home, but I'll be back tomorrow, Monday show, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, what's going on here?